All right, everyone, welcome back from the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, August 5th, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, or come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, here, market's gapping down after the jobs report this morning, but recovered pretty sharply right in the morning here. Huge reversal there. And then we faded pretty sharply as well. Almost got back down to double bottom. Markets bid right back up, and then the light volume kind of took over, and now we're definitely in float mode. Just about 43 or 44 million shares traded on the SPY at about 3 p.m. So again, doing this video a little early again today, as you know, the market's really just anemic. It's in float mode right now, and this is what happens when you have a market that is in melt up mode. It's in summer doldrums mode. It can shake off bad news. So we had the jobs number this morning. That came in literally like double what was expected. So essentially that implies more rate hikes, but jobs are a lagging indicator. So the market's probably a little bit more focused on CPI. So there's that. And there's the fact that the light volume kind of just, will take over sometimes, and the market will shrug off bad news when it wants to. And that's what we're seeing right now. We do have a cycle date coming up. Members just got that today. By the way, don't forget to sign up for the cycles course August 21st at 12 p.m. So I'll be going over everything related to cycles, how I calculate them, and really, honestly, it's totally invaluable information. But we do have one coming up, and it's pretty major. So we'll stay tuned for that. That said, there's no real sell signal on the market yet. But again, if we take a look at the daily chart here of the spiders, we're still really stretched, even though we've kind of consolidated a little bit. We're still really stretched here in the short term. And I think price action today, especially if we do pump up here in the last hour, that could cause some bears to throw in the towel, which is exactly what we want to see if we're going to get a turn. So, markets top on euphoria, they top on FOMO, and they top on bear capitulation. So we haven't quite seen that yet, but we're seeing cracks of it. So if we take a look at a few stocks like Carvana, we traded this several times over the last couple months, up 42% today. Yeah, that's not fake. That's not a misprint. It's 42% here. It's actually pushing up here in the final hour, but take a look at that. They reported earnings, and that's a massive short squeeze there. Humongous short squeeze. And this is the reason why I wanted to be in this as many times as I did, because it has 50% of the float short. This is what happens when when you get those types of numbers here. But Carvana up big. Coinbase had a huge day yesterday. Not as much today as it faded off the highs. But it is up decently. But it had a huge move. Square reported earnings yesterday. This is still negative, but after the gap down, it was able to rally back positive. And it's still basically not down that much, so it's rallying off the lows. Take a look at Chegg. Look at the move there. So up almost 10% on the day. Bed Bath & Beyond. That's Best Buy. Bed Bath & Beyond, 30% gain. So we're seeing the bears get, basically bent over, and they're throwing in the towel on some of these names. AMC, almost 20% gain. Look at, and it gapped down to 17 this morning, and it's trading at 22.30 right now as we speak. This is what you see when funds get blown up and bears get blown up, trying to short the lows and not taking profits. So, so we're seeing some evidence of that right now, but it's not, hasn't quite filtered into the broad markets. I will say though, Tesla, definitely a red flag. So down almost 7% here today. That's an ugly reversal there on Tesla. It'll have some support around 830. And maybe if it gets lower, that 20 moving average, but that's not a good look there for Tesla. It's not a good look for risk either. So, but again, in the broad markets, we're not quite there yet. I think we need a few more, I think we need one more little thrust here, but overall, we're getting pretty close here, all things considered. Anyways, the spiders here, nothing's really changed here on the daily time frame. Still the same resistance level here around 420. Triple Q, same kind of deal here. You did pull back off the highs today, obviously. That trend line's being respected. So, we went up there, we tagged it. We tagged it again this morning and then kind of pulled back off it. I wouldn't rule out, move up into this zone though. But I think that's kind of your max move right now. Russell 2000, again, nice little, again, kind of an engulfing reversal, gap down, and then a move up, rallying up, and it's holding the gains for now. So this could also, potentially get up into that little resistance zone there as well. I wouldn't rule that out. And then the Dow, again, we talked about that 331 level on the diamond. So that's going to be your level there. You know, maybe it can pierce through it a little bit. You are consolidating bullish here, but you've consolidated here longer, and right above that, you've got a major breakdown area. So again, wouldn't rule out a little thrust here, but these things are getting really, really stretched at this point. SMH, semis, again, not too much to make out of today, down 1% here. You know, we had a nice little push yesterday, and you know, we faded off the highs a little bit today. Again, maybe it can push up to 250. I wouldn't rule that out either, but you know, not too much to make out of the move here today on the semis. IGV, same kind of deal. Gap down like everything else did, and it's basically flat right now. So a nice little move for IGV. You know, maybe it can get up to that 310 area, 312. But again, it's, you know, these things are starting to get a little long in the tooth. XBI. We talked about this nice bull flag here, and it had a nice pop. I would give this the upside bias to maybe 94. And then it's, you know, it's coming into a massive wall. But, you know, you got to respect it. It's a nice move there. With the light volume, these things can go higher than you think. You know, just ask anybody who was short Carvana the last 2 weeks. So that is the case there. Anyways, transports, again, nice bid today. You know, it's up decently, still inside of this red bar. I do not like that reversal. I'm not even convinced it can get through that. But we'll see what happens. You know, we still have, I think, one more push here. So we'll see what kind of upside that brings. But again, it's still inside of that big red bar reversal from this past Tuesday. Let's take a look at interest rates. So yesterday, I said, you know, it looks like the Head and Shoulders is in play unless something crazy happens tomorrow. And I'm glad I kind of footnoted that with that statement, because this was definitely a crazy reversal. So TNX 10-year up 6%, over 6%. We now have a negated and a failed Head and Shoulders pattern. Same thing on the 30-year, negated. So to me, yields can really take off to the upside here. And that wasn't really my stance previously. But, you know, I'm not going to fight the charts. I'm not going to fight the tape. That's what it's saying right now. And you got a failed Head and Shoulders there. This thing can go a lot higher. So that does, you know, that is definitely a major red flag right now. We'll have to see how that develops. But that is a really strong close there, specifically on the 10-year, more so than anything. But we'll continue to see what we get here. But now I'd have to shift my stance to being bullish yields right now. So just bear that in mind. Anyways, HYG, again, still kind of chopping inside of this range here that we stalled out in on the 28th. Again, no real problems at the current time. You know, I would give the upside to maybe 79, 79.20. Then you'll come into a lot of resistance, but HYG is holding up for now, so nothing really too new to add to that at the current time. XHB, also basically flat here. Again, you know, maybe this has upside to 66. It's hanging in there okay. ITB, same kind of deal here. You see it kind of just chopping around. Still a lot of resistance above these levels, though, so be careful with that. VNQ, also kind of fading here. You got to watch out for this green bar low. If you get a daily close below that, that would be a major sign of weakness to me. And if yields do take off, it's going to be a huge problem for these real estate equities. So bear that in mind as well. XLF, strangely enough, actually one of the strongest sectors today, up 70 basis points here is the XLF. Take a look at JP Morgan. Nice surge, over 3% gain on that. Bank of America also up nicely, although came off the highs a little bit. So a nice move for financials. And yes, generally rates up is good for financials, but the strange caveat today is that, you know, the yield curve really kind of increased. Specifically, just look at my other screens here. So yeah, the 2s and 10s increased pretty nicely, and so did the 10 and 30. So strange to see financials up so much today with that kind of caveat. It could be a one-day phenomenon. Maybe they're looking forward to rate or CPI next week. I don't know. Either way, XLF did have a good day, though, and you know, we'll respect it for now. But again, this is still a good amount of resistance with this red bar here on the daily time frame. And then XBD, which has been a powerhouse, basically finished with kind of an inside hammer today. So nothing really too new to add to that one right now. Crude. You know, tried to bounce off this trend line, you know, kind of faded a little bit in the last hour or so. So showing a little bit of weakness again. You guys know I'm expecting this to go lower. Got to be patient. Those levels will hit pretty soon. And then I think energy is going to be a really good play here. Same thing goes for XLE, you know, getting a nice pop. basically off that 200 moving average. You kind of almost kissed it essentially, but up 2.25 today. XOP, same kind of look there as with the OIH as well. These still have another leg lower, but when they hit our levels, we'll be getting in. And then nat gas here, another kind of just inside day here that, you know, does leave the door open for a possible move. I would give it maybe, if it can move up, I would give it the upside bias to about 9. But for right now, I don't really have any trade on nat gas. It's just, it's way too volatile at the current time. I mean, and that's a major distribution candle there as well. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, nat gas has certainly been a show this whole year here. And then dollar index, obviously bidding up today off the jobs number. We talked about that 50 moving average. Said we'd probably get a pop off that, and we have, you know, it did finish a little bit off the highs. You couldn't get back above that 20 moving average. So we'll see what it does here, but no real problems on the dollar right now. Gold down, you know, just about 1%, but the silver lining is with yields up and the dollar up as much as it is, this isn't the worst looking candle here on gold futures. You know, it looks like you're hovering right on that 50 moving average, and you know, you did come off the lows nicely, so it's hanging in there for now. I would say that's a bit of a silver lining. Also taking a look, speaking of silver, that's actually not a bad candle there. So you have a nice move up, you start kind of consolidating bullish, and then you have this, we call them like test candles, where you come down and you pop back off the lows. That's, you know, not a terrible candle there for silver. So silver holding up as well. Platinum, also a nice little inside candle there. Closing inside candle anyway after the surge yesterday, but that did go into the 100 moving average, so that probably needs to do some backing and filling. But nice little, you know, move here for the metals. Palladium stuck in kind of this little area here inside of that red candle. But, you know, considering the move in the dollar and in yields, you know, not a terrible day for metals. And then copper, lastly, also getting a little bit of a bid, but came off the highs. You need to see it make a higher high. If it does that, I think you can go up there and test that 50 moving average. So lastly, onto the coins. So let's get into Bitcoin. So again, a little bit of a, I wouldn't really say mixed bag, but a little bit mixed signal maybe. So Bitcoin is green today, only up 1%. Ether is up over 4%, so a nice move there. But they're both off the highs. So it's like, on one hand, we talked about this yesterday, the fact that they're not participating in the rally is kind of a red flag. And now today they're green with the markets red. So showing a little bit of strength, but also kind of coming off the highs. Again, nothing's broken with either of these patterns here. Actually, Polkadot having a pretty nice day, up almost 6%. This one actually looks all right now. But again, you know, nothing's broken with this pattern. You can still get a bid here, but you want to kind of see it do it sooner rather than later. And I don't want to see it close below that 20 moving average on either Ether or Bitcoin. That would signal a little bit of weakness here in the short term. And when you have something that's down like this, you don't want any sort of weakness to show up in the charts. So just be aware of that. But, you know, crypto's having an okay day, especially in a down market. All right, so let's wrap it up here. So one more look at the spiders here. So again, starting to bid up a little bit. Who knows if it sticks by the close? You got about 40 minutes left. Maybe they squeeze us in there. That would be my preferred scenario. I'd like to see a strong close on the market and really kind of stomp out those last bears and just basically get them to throw in the towel. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. But again, you got to respect the light volume, got to respect the summer doldrums for now. And again, just take it one day at a time. Anyways, guys, come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I will talk to you all next week.